Ladies and gentlemen, we all wake up each morning with a choice. We can go through the day on autopilot, letting the world dictate our energy, our focus, and our belief in ourselves. Or we can intentionally design our mindset so that no matter what comes our way, we remain steady, confident, and driven. The difference between those who thrive and those who simply survive isn't luck. It's not even talent. It's the daily practices they choose, small, consistent actions that shape how they think, feel, and respond to the world. Today, I want to share 8 powerful daily practices that will not only strengthen your mindset, but transform the way you live. Before the world has a chance to place its demands on you, before the phone buzzes with notifications, before the news fills your mind with problems you didn't have 5 minutes ago, there is a sacred window of time. This window, if you choose to protect it, can become the single most important part of your day. It's not about doing more, it's about doing nothing. Intentionally, we live in a culture addicted to movement, to noise, to constant stimulation. The moment we wake up, most of us are already in motion. Not physically perhaps, but mentally. We reach for the phone, check our emails, scroll through social media, and instantly plug into the chaos. And then we wonder why we feel anxious, reactive, and scattered. It's because we've started our day in the middle of a storm instead of in the calm before it. Starting with stillness is about creating space before the noise. It's about deliberately choosing a moment of quiet so that the rest of your day flows from a place of clarity instead of confusion. This stillness can take many forms: meditation, deep breathing, prayer, journaling, or simply sitting with a cup of coffee, listening to nothing but the sound of your own breath. It's not the activity itself that matters. It's the intention behind it. You are telling yourself, I will not be dictated by the world's pace. I will choose my own. Imagine your mind as a glass of water. Throughout the day, life shakes it. Deadlines, arguments, traffic, bad news. They stir up the sediment, the tiny particles of stress and distraction that cloud your thoughts. If you never allow the glass to rest, the water stays cloudy and you can't see clearly. But when you stop, when you give it time, the sediment settles to the bottom and suddenly everything becomes clear again. That clarity isn't just peaceful, it's powerful. It allows you to make better decisions, respond instead of react, and navigate challenges with a steady hand. I know a CEO who swears by this. Every morning, before emails, before meetings, before his kids even wake up, he goes into his garden. For 10 minutes, he does absolutely nothing. No phone, no music, no news. Just sits and watches the way the sunlight lands on the leaves, listens to the sound of the wind, feels the air on his skin. He calls it his daily calibration. He says those 10 minutes are why he can walk into a room filled with tension and not be swept up in it. He can negotiate with clarity. He can say no without guilt. He can lead without panic. Because he begins from stillness, he doesn't let urgency hijack his judgment. The world constantly rewards speed. It glorifies multitasking, applauds quick responses, and celebrates those who seem to always be in motion. But the mind does not reward speed, it rewards clarity. And clarity is only born in stillness. The paradox is that when you start slow, when you give yourself that quiet space, you actually move faster and more effectively throughout the day. You make fewer mistakes. You waste less time on unimportant things. You see opportunities others miss because they're too busy running in circles. This is not just a spiritual concept, it's biological. Science has shown that moments of silence activate the brain's default mode network, a system that's crucial for problem solving, creativity, and memory consolidation. When we're constantly stimulated, that network never gets a chance to work. Stillness isn't idleness, it's mental sharpening. It's like pausing to sharpen an axe before chopping wood. You lose a little time up front, but save enormous effort later. And here's the truth. Stillness doesn't just change how you work, it changes how you live. When you give yourself those few minutes at the start of the day, you become less reactive not just to work crises, but to life itself. The impatient driver doesn't rattle you. The rude comment doesn't stick to you. The unexpected setback doesn't spiral into a catastrophe in your mind. You see things for what they are, not what your anxiety magnifies them to be. Starting your day with stillness is an act of self-leadership. You are telling yourself, I am in control of my attention. I decide how I begin. It's an investment that compounds. One calm morning leads to better conversations. Better conversations lead to better relationships. Better relationships lead to better outcomes. And all of it starts with a choice to sit in silence for a few minutes while the rest of the world rushes past. In a sense, this practice is like building a foundation before you construct the day. You wouldn't start building a skyscraper on shifting sand. You'd make sure the ground is solid. Stillness is that solid ground. Without it, you're building your day on whatever mental state you woke up with: stress, distraction, fatigue. With it, you're building on clarity, focus, and intention. There's a quiet power in resisting the urge to start your day at full speed. That urge will always be there. There will always be messages waiting, news to read, tasks to do. But when you choose stillness, you send yourself and the world a different message that your peace is not negotiable, that you will not be carried away by the first wave of urgency. You will meet the day on your terms. Over time, this becomes more than a practice. It becomes a way of being. You carry that stillness into meetings, into conversations, into moments of conflict. You become the calm in the room instead of another voice in the noise. And people notice, they gravitate toward it because it's rare. In a frantic world, stillness stands out. So before you step into the chaos, Before you let the demands of the day shape you, give yourself that gift. 10 minutes, 5 minutes, even 2 minutes of deliberate quiet. Breathe, be still. Let the sediment settle, and watch how the rest of your day shifts, not because the world changed, but because you did. When you wake up in the morning, your mind is like a canvas, blank open, ready to be painted on by the day's events. But here's the thing, the colors you choose to start with determine the tone of the entire picture. If you begin with stagnation, stillness of the wrong kind, where your body is dormant and your muscles remain unused, you send a signal to your brain that it's okay to stay in that low energy state. But the moment you choose to move, to stretch, to walk, to exercise, you ignite something far deeper than just muscle activation. You ignite your mind. There is a profound connection between movement and mental clarity. It's not just about burning calories or building strength, it's about altering the chemistry inside your brain. When you move, your body releases dopamine and serotonin, two of the most powerful mood-regulating chemicals we have. These are not just feel-good substances, they are the foundation for motivation, focus, and creative thinking. Without them, it's like trying to run high-performance software on an outdated computer. It's slow, glitchy, and prone to shutting down when you need it most. Think of your body as the delivery system for your mindset. If the delivery system is slow, if it's bogged down, if it hasn't been properly activated, then no matter how motivated you want to feel, it's going to be harder to reach that mental state. A sluggish body creates a sluggish mind. That's why even 20 minutes of movement, something as simple as a brisk walk, a few minutes of stretching, or dancing around your kitchen while making coffee, can completely shift the trajectory of your day. I know this from experience. I've seen mornings where I roll out of bed, open my laptop, and dive straight into work without moving at all. Those days often start heavy. Thoughts feel cloudy, decisions take longer, and motivation comes in bursts instead of steady streams. But on the mornings when I decide to lace up my shoes and step outside before even touching my phone, the difference is remarkable. The crisp air, the rhythm of my steps, the slight acceleration of my heartbeat. It's as if each stride clears away mental fog and makes space for sharper, bolder ideas to flow in. Some of the most effective leaders in the world already understand this connection. They schedule walking meetings not just for the sake of health, but because they know movement unlocks creativity. A static conversation in a conference room often follows predictable patterns, but take that same conversation outside, get the body in motion, and suddenly the ideas flow differently. There's something about synchronizing thought with movement that sparks a higher level of thinking. The mind seems to loosen its grip on fixed ideas and wander into unexplored territory. Science backs this up. Studies show that physical activity increases blood flow to the brain, which means more oxygen, more nutrients, and more energy reaching the very organ responsible for problem-solving, decision-making, and innovation. It's not magic, it's biology. And once you understand that biology, you can leverage it. Movement is no longer just something you should do for health. It becomes something you choose to do for the sake of your vision, your work, and your ability to think at your best. The truth is, we often overcomplicate motivation. We think we need the perfect playlist, the perfect inspirational video, the perfect morning ritual before we can feel ready to tackle our day. But sometimes the simplest act, standing up and moving, is the real trigger. It's the switch that flips your mind from idle to active. You don't need a gym membership or an hour-long workout to start. You just need a decision to engage your body so that your mind can follow. I've met people who swear they're not morning people, yet when they commit to moving their body within the first hour of waking up, their entire self-perception begins to change. Suddenly, they're not dragging themselves through the day, they're leading it. They notice that problems feel less overwhelming, conversations feel more engaging, and tasks feel less like chores and more like opportunities. That shift doesn't come from caffeine or sheer willpower. It comes from creating the conditions inside your body for your mind to thrive. It's also worth noting that movement is not just about energy, it's about resilience. Life throws curveballs, challenges that test not just our physical stamina, but our mental and emotional strength. Regular movement strengthens that inner fortitude. When you train your body, you're also training your mind to push through discomfort, to find rhythm in chaos, to keep going when it would be easier to stop. And that's a skill that pays off far beyond the gym or the walking trail. If you've ever been stuck on a problem, the kind that keeps you at your desk, staring at the same page or the same email for far too long, you know the frustration. But watch what happens when you stand up, stretch, and walk for even 10 minutes. The problem might not be instantly solved, but your relationship to it changes. It no longer feels like a wall, it starts to feel like a puzzle, and puzzles invite curiosity. Movement creates that shift. So when you think about how you want your day to go, don't just plan what tasks you'll tackle or what meetings you'll attend. Plan how you will prime your mind. Build movement into your day, not as an afterthought, but as a deliberate choice, the same way you would schedule an important meeting. Because in many ways, it is the most important meeting, the one between your body and your mind, where they agree to work together instead of against each other. And here's the beauty of it: the more you make this a part of your life, the more natural it becomes. It stops feeling like exercise and starts feeling like breathing. Something your day doesn't feel right without. You'll find yourself seeking out opportunities to move because you'll recognize the difference it makes. You'll begin to feel it in the clarity of your thoughts, in the steadiness of your mood, in the way challenges feel just a little less heavy. The energy you want for your day is already inside you. The focus you need to do your best work is already there. Movement is simply the key that unlocks it. And once you turn that key each morning, you'll start to realize you have more control over your mindset than you ever thought possible. All it takes is the willingness to take that first step. Everything we take in, every word, every image, every sound becomes a part of the fabric of our thoughts. It weaves itself into the way we see the world, the way we speak to others, and the way we speak to ourselves. The inputs we allow into our minds are not harmless background noise. They are the architects of our perspective. They can build something remarkable or quietly dismantle our confidence, our optimism, and our ability to act with courage. Think about how you feel after scrolling through social media for half an hour. At first, it seems harmless. But suddenly you catch yourself comparing your life to a stranger's highlight reel, measuring your worth against their curated perfection. Or you see another wave of outrage over events you can't control, and a subtle heaviness settles in your chest. Without realizing it, you've allowed those inputs to direct your emotional state, to frame how you view your day before it's even begun. Now contrast that with waking up, brewing your coffee, and opening a book that sparks a new idea, or listening to a voice that reminds you of your strength, your purpose, and your potential. Imagine starting the day with a note of gratitude written in your journal. A small but deliberate act that shifts your mind into appreciation rather than scarcity. The difference between these two mornings is not luck, it is choice. Your mind is like a garden, and every input is a seed. Some seeds grow into weeds that choke your motivation, fill your thoughts with doubt, and make you reactive rather than proactive. Other seeds grow into strong, healthy plants that anchor you when the winds of life blow hard. The truth is, you cannot expect to harvest peace if you plant chaos. You cannot expect clarity if you plant confusion. And you cannot expect confidence if you keep watering the roots of insecurity. I once met a young entrepreneur who was on the verge of burnout. He was working 16-hour days, hustling with everything he had, yet feeling more drained and doubtful with each passing week. When I asked him what his mornings looked like, he told me he woke up to an alarm, immediately checked email, scrolled through news headlines, and then rushed into his day. His mental garden was flooded with urgency, fear, and distraction before he even had breakfast. So I challenged him for 1 week, change nothing about his work schedule except his inputs. No news first thing in the morning. No email until after his first hour. Instead, he was to read 10 minutes of something that expanded his thinking and write down one intention for the day. By the end of the week, his energy wasn't just higher, his problem solving was sharper, his mood steadier, and his perspective wider. The work was the same, but the mind approaching it was different. This is why we must prime our inputs with intention. We often guard our bodies with diets, exercise, and checkups, but leave our minds unprotected against a daily onslaught of mental junk food. And just like a body fueled on empty calories, a mind fueled on shallow, fear-driven content becomes sluggish, reactive, and unhealthy. The challenge isn't just to avoid the poison, it's to actively seek the nourishment. Look at the people who inspire you most, the leaders, creators, thinkers who seem grounded even in chaos. It's not because their world is free of noise, it's because they've learned to choose their signal. They're intentional about what they watch, what they read, who they spend time with. They understand that every conversation, every story, every lesson they take in becomes the foundation from which they lead and create. An Olympic athlete I know has a simple ritual that speaks volumes. Each morning before training, he reads exactly 1 page of a book, never more, never less. It might be philosophy, psychology, or a memoir. His point isn't to rush through it, but to take one idea and carry it through his day, letting it influence how he approaches every lift, every sprint, every challenge. For him, a strong body without a strong mind is like a race car with no steering wheel. Powerful, but directionless. It's easy to underestimate the compounding effect of our inputs. One uplifting podcast might feel small. 1 page of a meaningful book might seem trivial. But day after day, these tiny acts stack on top of each other, shaping the architecture of your mind. Likewise, 1 morning of toxic news might feel insignificant, but repeated over weeks and months, it builds a worldview steeped in fear, cynicism, and helplessness. We live in a world that constantly demands our attention, and if we are not intentional, it will decide for us what we see, hear, and think about. The algorithms are not designed to make us better, they're designed to keep us hooked. And the more reactive we are to what is fed to us, the less agency we have over what grows in our mental garden. So ask yourself if your mind was a playlist, who's creating it, you or the world? Are you allowing the loudest voices in the room to set your mood? Or are you curating a soundtrack that pushes you toward who you want to become? Choosing your inputs is not about avoiding reality. It's about choosing the lens through which you see it. You can face the challenges of the world more effectively when your mind is fueled by clarity rather than clouded by noise. You can solve problems more creatively when you're not bogged down by mental clutter. You can lead with compassion when you're not drowning in outrage. There's a phrase I keep returning to, Z: what you feed grows. Feed your mind curiosity and you grow creativity. Feed it gratitude and you grow resilience. Feed it fear and you grow doubt. The choice is yours every single morning. And the beautiful thing is, it doesn't take hours to make the shift. Just a few minutes of intentional input can transform the quality of your entire day. One day you will look back at the life you've built, the career, the relationships, the sense of self, and realize it was not shaped by one grand decision, but by thousands of small ones. Many of those decisions began the moment you opened your eyes in the morning and chose what to let into your mind. Those first inputs whispered to you about who you were, what you were capable of, and what kind of day you would have. And little by little, they became the voice you carried into every conversation, every challenge, and every victory. If you want to change your life, start by changing what you consume, not just on your plate, but on your screen, in your ears, and in your heart. Choose inputs that elevate you, challenge you, and remind you of your potential. Guard your mind like it is the most valuable resource you have, because it is. And remember, the seeds you plant today will be the garden you walk in tomorrow. When we think about achieving great things, our minds often leap to the end result, the grand vision, the dream fulfilled, the life we imagine for ourselves. But the truth is, staring at the entire mountain from its base can feel paralyzing. We see the distance, the obstacles, the sheer scale of what lies ahead, and suddenly that dream feels impossibly far away. That's when self-doubt creeps in, whispering that maybe it's too much, too hard, or maybe we're not ready yet. And so we hesitate, we stall. Sometimes we give up before we've even taken the first step. But here's the reality: success is rarely about giant leaps. It's built in small, deliberate steps. It's built in the discipline to focus on just one win at a time. Not 10, not 20, just one. Imagine your to-do list, that never-ending scroll of tasks that feels like it multiplies while you sleep. You look at it and think, where do I even begin? The overwhelm alone can rob you of energy before you've even started. But what if you ignored the noise and simply asked yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that will matter most? Not the easiest task, not the quickest one to check off. The most meaningful. It could be a phone call you've been avoiding because it feels uncomfortable. It could be writing the first page of a project you've been dreaming about but keep putting off. It could be reaching out to a mentor for guidance. One thing, that's it. When you commit to one meaningful win each day, something extraordinary happens. You create momentum, and momentum is a force that changes everything. It's like a snowball starting at the top of a hill. At first, it's small, slow, almost fragile. But as it rolls, it gathers more snow, more weight, more speed. Before long, it's unstoppable. That's how progress works. We often underestimate the compounding effect of small victories. But over time, these wins stack on top of one another, creating a foundation so strong that even the toughest challenges can't shake it. Think about the last time you achieved something significant. Chances are it didn't happen in a single day. It was the accumulation of days where you showed up, even when it felt like the progress was invisible. There's another benefit to focusing on one win at a time: it builds confidence. Every time you take action and see a result, no matter how small, you reinforce the belief that you are capable of making things happen. Confidence doesn't come from wishful thinking. It comes from action, from proving to yourself again and again that you can move forward. This approach also protects you from one of the biggest killers of ambition: perfectionism. We've been conditioned to believe that we must get everything right before we can take a step forward. But perfection is just procrastination wearing a fancy disguise. Waiting until everything is perfect before starting means you'll be waiting forever. When you shift your focus to one win at a time, you're no longer obsessed with perfection. You're committed to progress. And progress is where transformation begins. I've seen people turn their entire lives around with this mindset. A woman who wanted to leave her corporate job to start her own business didn't quit everything overnight. She began with one daily win, waking up an hour earlier to work on her side project. Over weeks and months, that single commitment led to a fully formed business plan, a first client, and eventually the freedom she had dreamed of. A man who struggled with his health didn't try to overhaul his entire lifestyle in one day. His first win was simply taking a 20-minute walk after work. That one habit became 2, then 3. Soon, he was eating differently, sleeping better, and feeling stronger than he had in years. These changes didn't happen because they focused on doing everything at once. They happened because they focused on doing one thing that mattered again and again. Even in history, the greatest achievements are built this way. We remember the moon landing as one giant leap for mankind, but it was really the result of thousands of small steps, calculations, tests, adjustments, and experiments. Each day brought one win, sometimes tiny, sometimes massive, but always moving forward. When we commit to one win at a time, we also learn the value of presence. We stop living in the someday and start engaging fully in the now. That call you make today matters. That draft you write today matters. That decision you take today matters. Because each one is a building block for the future you're creating. The beauty of this mindset is that it's accessible to anyone. You don't need more resources, more talent, or more connections to start. You just need to decide what your win will be today and then do it. The size of the win doesn't matter nearly as much as the fact that you keep going. Some days your win will feel huge, like landing a new client or finishing a big project. Other days it might be as small as showing up when you didn't feel like it. Both matter, both count, because consistency beats intensity every single time. There will be days when progress feels slow, when you question whether it's worth it. On those days, remember the snowball. It might still look small to you, but every turn, every roll, every little bit of forward motion is adding weight and speed. And one day you'll look back and realize that what once felt heavy and impossible is now moving almost effortlessly. Focusing on one win at a time isn't just about productivity. It's about rewiring how you see success. It teaches patience, builds resilience, and creates an unshakable belief in your ability to move forward no matter what. It frees you from the burden of doing everything at once and gives you permission to take your journey step by step. And in the end, those steps are what will get you to the top of the mountain, not because you leapt there in one impossible bound, but because you chose to win the day every day until you arrived. Gratitude is one of those concepts that sounds simple, yet its power is often underestimated. Most people think of it as a fleeting moment, a polite thank you, or a quick acknowledgement when something goes right. But true gratitude is not a reaction, it's a practice. It's a deliberate choice to direct your attention toward what's working, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. And like any skill, the more you practice it, the stronger it becomes. I remember speaking with a veteran who had been through unimaginable hardship. He had lost a leg in service, endured months of painful recovery, and faced challenges most of us can't even begin to imagine. Yet when I asked him how he maintained his positivity, his answer stopped me in my tracks. Every morning before his feet, or rather his foot, touched the ground, he listed 3 things he was grateful for. Sometimes they were profound, like the fact that he had lived through the explosion that took his leg. Other times they were so small they could easily be overlooked. The sound of rain against the window, the smell of freshly brewed coffee, or the belly laugh of his children down the hall. He looked me in the eye and said, "When you start the day counting what you have, it's hard to feel like you've lost." That sentence has echoed in my mind ever since. It's the essence of what gratitude really is, not denial of pain or hardship, but the intentional act of finding light in the cracks of darkness. Science backs him up. Research from Harvard has shown that writing down just 3 things you're grateful for each day increases optimism, improves sleep, and lowers stress. It's not because those 3 things magically fix your problems. It's because they shift your perspective. When you consciously search for things to appreciate, your brain begins to look for more of them, rewiring itself over time. You literally train your mind to spot opportunities, beauty, and possibility instead of just danger, disappointment, and loss. But here's the part most people miss: gratitude isn't always easy. In fact, the moments when it's hardest to practice are the ones when you need it most. When the bills are stacking up, when your health takes a hit, when a relationship ends, when plans fall apart, that's when your brain is screaming for you to focus on what's wrong. And yet, in those moments, if you can find even the smallest thing to appreciate, you reclaim some control over your mindset. You declare, "The world doesn't get to dictate my perspective. I do." I've seen it in business leaders who lost everything in a downturn, but still express gratitude for their team's loyalty. I've seen it in athletes who missed their shot at a championship, but express gratitude for the chance to compete at all. I've even seen it in children living in incredibly difficult circumstances who still smile and say they're grateful for their friends or for the fact that they get to go to school. These aren't people ignoring their struggles. They're people refusing to let their struggles define them. The beautiful thing about gratitude is that it compounds. The more you notice and name the good in your life, the more your brain learns to spot it in real time. It's like tuning a radio. At first you have to work to find the right frequency, but once you're locked in, the signal comes in more clearly, more often. And because our emotions are contagious, gratitude doesn't just transform your own life, it changes the lives of those around you. A grateful leader creates a team culture where people feel valued. A grateful parent raises children who see the world with a sense of abundance instead of scarcity. A grateful friend reminds you of what's possible even when you can't see it yourself. Think about how differently you behave when you're operating from gratitude instead of frustration. In frustration, we close ourselves off, we snap at people, we focus on scarcity and guard what little we think we have. But in gratitude, we open up, we listen better, we find joy in other people's success, and we become more generous, not just with our resources, but with our time, our attention, and our kindness. And practicing gratitude doesn't require hours of your day or grand gestures. You can start with something as simple as keeping a small notebook by your bed. Every night before you sleep, write down 3 things that happened that day, big or small, that you're thankful for. Over time, you'll notice patterns. You'll discover what really matters to you, not just what you think should matter. And in moments of hardship, you'll have pages and pages of proof that your life holds beauty even in the midst of struggle. You can also integrate gratitude into the way you interact with others. Instead of waiting for special occasions, tell people when you appreciate them and be specific. "Thank you for being such a good listener" carries more weight than a generic thanks. Send an unexpected message to someone who has impacted your life. Express gratitude for the people who challenge you, yes, even them, because they push you to grow. The truth is, gratitude is a discipline. Some mornings it will come easily. You'll wake up feeling alive, inspired, and surrounded by blessings. Other mornings it will feel like a chore, like trying to light a fire in the pouring rain. But those are the mornings when the practice matters most. Because if you can find one thing, just one, to appreciate on your hardest days. You've already won a small but powerful victory. When life feels uncertain, gratitude anchors you. It's a reminder that no matter how much is outside of your control, there is always something, however small, that you can hold on to. And from that place, you can build resilience. You can face the unknown with courage because you've trained yourself to see that even in the worst moments, there's still good. I think about that veteran often. The world could have looked at him and seen only loss, but he chose to see what remained, what was still worth fighting for. And because he practiced gratitude like a skill, not a mood, he didn't just survive, he thrived. That's the power of this mindset. It's not about ignoring the rain, it's about learning to appreciate the sound it makes against your window. It's not about denying the darkness, it's about noticing the stars. And it's not about waiting for life to be perfect before you're grateful, it's about being grateful now so you can see the perfection that's already here. The people we choose to keep close to us shape more than just our conversations. They shape our entire reality. Every interaction we have with them, every laugh, every piece of advice, every silence is like a drop of water in the ocean of our mindset. Over time, those drops create waves, and those waves can either push us toward the shore of our potential or pull us back into the undertow of doubt, fear, and mediocrity. We sometimes think we are the sum of our own choices, our own actions, our own willpower. But the truth is we are deeply influenced by the environment we exist in. And our closest circle, those we let into our hearts and minds, is the most powerful part of that environment. They don't just influence what we think, they influence what we believe is possible. They influence how we see ourselves. And if you've ever felt your energy change after a single conversation, you already know how powerful that influence can be. If you want to build a mindset capable of carrying you through challenges, one that keeps you moving even when the road ahead feels uncertain, then you must be intentional about who walks that road with you. This isn't about arrogance. This isn't about thinking you're better than anyone else. It's about self-preservation. It's about protecting the mental space you need to grow. Because no matter how strong you think you are, no matter how disciplined or motivated, if you spend enough time surrounded by negativity, cynicism, or apathy, you will start to absorb it. Think of your circle like a garden. The people in your life are either helping you grow by watering you with encouragement, inspiration, and belief, or they are draining you, pulling at your roots, blocking the sunlight you need to thrive. And here's the part we don't like to admit. Sometimes the people who drain us the most are the ones we love the most. That doesn't mean we stop caring for them, but it does mean we need to protect our energy when we are around them. It means setting boundaries so that their storms don't wash away our foundations. Look closely at your 5 closest relationships. Are they helping you see a bigger version of yourself? Do they challenge you to think beyond what's comfortable? Do they believe in you even on the days when you question everything? Or do they subtly make you feel smaller? Do they roll their eyes when you share your dreams? Do they plant seeds of doubt disguised as just being realistic? The truth is, energy is contagious. Spend enough time with those who dream bigger, who speak possibility into the air, who look at obstacles as puzzles to solve rather than signs to turn back, and you'll find yourself thinking the same way. Spend enough time with those who complain more than they create, who see problems in every opportunity instead of opportunities in every problem, and you'll slowly inherit that worldview too. Sometimes the hardest part of protecting your circle is realizing that you might need to let go of relationships that no longer align with the person you are becoming. That doesn't mean you erase people from your life without compassion or explanation. It means recognizing when a relationship belongs to a chapter that has already been written and not forcing it into a story that's moving in a new direction. It means loving people from a distance when closeness becomes a cost to your growth. And just as important as protecting yourself from the wrong influences is intentionally seeking the right ones. Find people who make you feel alive when you talk to them. People who don't just cheer for you when you win, but push you when you stall. People who tell you the truth, even when it's uncomfortable, because they care more about your growth than your temporary comfort. People who, when you leave their company, make you want to be better, not because they demand it, but because they inspire it. Here's something we often forget. You don't have to have all the right people in your life right now. You can go find them. Join communities that share your vision or values. Learn from those who are ahead of you on the path you're walking. Invest in building relationships with people who see the world through a lens that challenges your own. And remember, the best relationships are not just about taking inspiration from others. They're about giving it back. You must also be the kind of person worth having in someone else's circle. When you show up for others with honesty, encouragement, and belief, you strengthen not just your own mindset, but theirs as well. And that's the beauty of the right circle. It's not a one-way exchange. It's a constant cycle of giving and receiving, challenging and supporting, teaching and learning. Together, you rise higher than any one person could on their own. There will be moments in your life when your belief in yourself runs dangerously low, when the voices of doubt grow louder than the voices of possibility. In those moments, it is the people in your circle who will remind you of who you are. They will see in you what you can't see in yourself. They will hold your vision for you until you're strong enough to carry it again. And there will be moments when you're the one who needs to do that for them. Because the truth is, Even the strongest, most resilient people have days when they feel lost. Your presence, your encouragement, your belief in them might be the very thing that helps them take one more step forward. That's the responsibility and privilege of being part of a powerful circle. You are both supported and supportive, lifted and lifting. The world is loud. The challenges you face are real. But the people you choose to keep close can be the difference between losing yourself in the noise or rising above it. Protect your circle like your future depends on it. Because it does. Setbacks are not the enemy. They are not the dark clouds that come to ruin your day, your plans, or your dreams. They are the uninvited teachers that often give us the lessons we need most. The problem is, most of us spend so much energy resisting them that we fail to hear what they are trying to teach us. A powerful mindset isn't about living a life free from problems. That's impossible. It's about deciding to see problems differently, to step into them with curiosity rather than fear, to meet them with the question, what can this teach me? Instead of, why is this happening to me? When we change the question, we change the outcome. The first question, why is this happening to me, is rooted in victimhood. It keeps us stuck in the belief that life is something that happens at us rather than something that happens for us. But the second question, what can this teach me, puts us in the driver's seat. It turns setbacks into tools. It transforms life's blows into bricks we can use to build something stronger. Think about it. Every great inventor, leader, or visionary has faced disappointment. Thomas Edison didn't see his thousands of unsuccessful attempts as failures. He saw them as discoveries. I have not failed, he famously said. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. His genius wasn't just in his inventions. It was in his ability to see the same event through a different lens. Reality didn't change. His perspective did, and perspective is everything. I once met an entrepreneur who embodied this truth. His first 2 businesses collapsed spectacularly. The debts, the public embarrassment, the sleepless nights, they would have been enough to convince most people to walk away forever. But not him. When I asked how he kept going, he smiled and said, those weren't failures, they were paid lessons. Paid lessons? He reframed years of hardship into an investment, one that ultimately gave him the insight, resilience, and clarity to build his 3rd company, now worth millions. The events didn't magically become pleasant in hindsight, but the meaning he attached to them was the difference between quitting and creating a legacy. And this is what so many people misunderstand about setbacks. We think they're the period at the end of our sentence, the sign that the story is over. In reality, they're more like commas, a pause that allows us to breathe, adjust, and continue in a new direction. They're detours, not dead ends. But to see them that way, we must first loosen our grip on the belief that life must go according to our original plan. The truth is, the original plan is often too small for the person we're becoming. Here's the hard part: reframing doesn't mean denying the pain. It's not about pretending that disappointment doesn't sting or that failure doesn't hurt. You can't just slap on a fake smile and expect your brain to believe it. Reframing means acknowledging the pain, feeling it fully, but then choosing to place it in a bigger context. It's saying, yes, this moment hurts, but maybe, just maybe, this is a stepping stone to something far greater than I can see right now. It's like standing in the middle of a storm. If all you focus on is the rain soaking your clothes and the wind pushing you off balance, you'll feel miserable and powerless. But if you step back far enough to see that the storm is also watering seeds beneath the soil, seeds that will eventually grow into something beautiful, then you begin to understand its purpose. The storm doesn't change. Your understanding of it does. In life, some of the most extraordinary people you will ever meet are not those who avoided hardship, but those who mined their hardship for gold. They dug into the dirt of their experiences and found the lessons buried within. They learned patience, humility, adaptability, and courage, traits that no book, seminar, or podcast can truly teach you. These traits are earned in the trenches of difficulty, not in the comfort of certainty. And there's something else about reframing that's worth noting. It's contagious. When you choose to see setbacks differently, you inspire others to do the same. You give permission to your friends, your colleagues, your children to not fear failure. You become living proof that a door closing isn't the end of the hallway. It's often just the invitation to try another one. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect at it. No one is. There will be days when the setback feels too big to reframe in the moment. On those days, give yourself grace. Let the dust settle. Sometimes perspective takes time to develop. But even in the waiting, hold on to the belief that you will one day look back on this and see its value. That belief is the seed of resilience. When you train yourself to look for the lesson in every setback, you begin to see life differently. You stop fearing change because you trust that even the unwanted changes might carry hidden gifts. You stop clinging to certainty because you realize that uncertainty often brings the breakthroughs. You stop asking life to be easy and start asking life to make you strong. And strength, real strength, is not built in the absence of struggle. It's built because of it. So the next time you face a setback, whether it's a failed project, a lost opportunity, a personal disappointment, or a dream that seems to collapse in front of you, pause. Resist the urge to spiral into, why me? And instead, dare to ask, what can this teach me? You may not get the answer immediately, but that question will shift your energy. It will open your mind to possibilities that a victim mindset can never see. Remember, The story you tell yourself about your setbacks will shape the person you become. You can tell the story of a victim, someone who was crushed by the weight of challenges. Or you can tell the story of a learner, a fighter, someone who turned challenges into the raw material for their greatest victories. Both stories might be based on the same events, but they lead to very different futures. Setbacks are not the walls that keep you trapped. They are the mirrors that show you what you're made of. They are the fires that forge the steel in your character. And when you look at them through the lens of growth, you realize that life has never been against you. It has always been shaping you. Because in the end, the event doesn't define you, the perspective does. And when you choose to reframe, you're not just changing how you see the setback, you're changing who you become because of it. At the end of every day, there is a moment most people miss. A small, quiet window where the noise fades, the world slows, and we're left alone with our thoughts. It's in this moment that the seeds of tomorrow are planted. Most rush past it, too tired, too distracted, or too consumed by the demands of the next day. But those who understand the true nature of growth know that it is in this moment, not in the business, not in the hustle, that transformation takes root. It's tempting to believe that our progress is built solely in the doing, in the grind, in the hours of action we put in. But think about it. What good is running faster if we don't know whether we're even running in the right direction? Action without reflection is like reading a book, but never pausing to understand the meaning of the words. You may finish the pages, but the story will never truly change you. A professional athlete once told me something that shifted the way I think about progress. He said, "I spend more time reviewing my game footage than actually playing the game." At first, it sounded counterintuitive. After all, isn't the game itself the main event? But then it hit me in the middle of the game. Your focus is on survival, on reacting, on execution. In the moment, you're too close to see the patterns, too immersed to notice the subtle opportunities for improvement. Reflection is where the pieces come together. It's where mistakes reveal their lessons, where victories reveal their principles, and where small details that went unnoticed in the heat of the moment become the key to future success. That's the power of taking just 5 minutes at the end of your day to stop and review. To ask yourself 3 simple but transformative questions. What went well? What challenged me? What will I do better tomorrow? These questions are not just a checklist. They are a mirror. And in that mirror, you see yourself not just as you are, but as you are becoming. When you ask, what went well? You train your mind to notice progress, however small. This matters because most people are wired to notice what's wrong, to fixate on mistakes, flaws, and shortcomings. But noticing progress shifts your energy, your confidence, and your belief in your ability to grow. You start to see yourself as someone capable of winning, not just someone struggling to survive. When you ask, what challenged me? You identify the very things that will make you stronger, if you choose to face them. Challenges are not punishments, they are invitations to evolve. The obstacle in your path is not there to stop you, it's there to prepare you. By naming the challenge, you strip it of its power to intimidate you in the dark corners of your mind. And when you ask, what will I do better tomorrow? You take responsibility. You shift from a passive recipient of life's events to an active author of your own story. That small act of deciding, of setting an intention, creates momentum that carries into the next day. You begin to see each day not as a disconnected series of events, but as chapters in a larger narrative, one you are consciously writing. The difference between people who grow consistently and those who repeat the same year over and over isn't intelligence, luck, or talent. It's reflection. Without reflection, life becomes a blur. Days pass without meaning. Mistakes are repeated not because we are doomed to repeat them, but because we never pause long enough to notice them in the first place. Without reflection, even victories fade quickly, leaving us chasing the next thing without fully appreciating the last. But with reflection, the smallest moments take on weight. A conversation becomes a turning point. A mistake becomes a lesson. A success becomes a source of confidence. Reflection turns life from something that happens to you into something you are actively shaping. This is not about overanalyzing or beating yourself up. It's about developing the humility to admit that every day has something to teach you and the courage to listen. It's about understanding that your best self is not born in a single moment of inspiration, but in the steady accumulation of small realizations over time. Think of the greatest breakthroughs in history. They rarely happened in the chaos of action. They came when someone stepped back, thought deeply, connected the dots, and saw the pattern others missed. Leonardo da Vinci would spend hours in quiet study simply observing. Einstein credited his biggest insights to moments of reflection and thought experiments, not constant calculation. Even in nature, growth is not constant action. It comes in cycles. The tree does not grow taller every moment of every day. It has seasons for reaching upward and seasons for strengthening its roots. Your reflection time is when you grow your roots. It's the quiet strengthening that allows you to stand taller tomorrow. Skipping it is like building higher floors on a building without checking the foundation. Eventually, the cracks will show. And here's the truth that many avoid. Reflection requires honesty. Not the polished social media version of honesty, but the kind where you admit to yourself where you fell short, where you could have done better, and where fear or pride held you back. It's uncomfortable, but it's also freeing. Because when you face the truth about where you are, you take control of where you're going. The real beauty of ending your day with reflection is that it replaces regret with intention. Regret is born when we look back and wish we had done something differently, but never gave ourselves the chance to adjust in the moment. When you build reflection into your daily rhythm, you catch those moments early. You don't wait until the end of the month or the end of the year, or worse, the end of a chapter in your life to realize what you could have done differently. You adjust tomorrow, not someday. 5 minutes. That's all it takes. 5 minutes to turn your experiences into lessons, your lessons into wisdom, and your wisdom into a better tomorrow. The world will constantly push you to do more, move faster, and focus on what's next. But those who truly grow know that progress isn't just about the next step. It's about understanding the step you just took. Every night, before the day slips away, give yourself the gift of reflection. Don't just end the day, learn from it. Don't just live the experience, own it. And when you wake up tomorrow, you'll do so not just older, but wiser. And that, more than anything else, is how we keep moving forward without leaving behind the person we're meant to become. These 8 practices may seem small, but their impact is massive. They're not hacks or shortcuts. They're habits that compound into a life you're proud of. The truth is, you don't have to control everything to have a powerful mindset. You just have to control what you can. Your stillness, your movement, your inputs, your wins, your gratitude, your circle, your perspective, and your reflection. Because a powerful mindset doesn't happen by accident. It happens by practice, daily, consistently, intentionally.